to a new edition of the Why So Blue podcast. I believe it's episode 4. We're going to be talking about the new Batman vs. Superman that just came out this last the Friday. New X-Men trailer and South by Southwest, who are our very own Bron and Jordan of WhySoBlue.com.
My name's Bron.
We're able to attend. So first, I guess we'll just kick off with Jordan. Tell us a little bit.
Hello!
How South by Southwest.
Wow! But no, let's introduce everyone else too.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm Shohan, by the way.
Okay.
I'm Erica.
Okay.
I'm Jerad.
Okay. And I'm Jordan.
Let's get it going.
Let's get it going. So what you
So you guys drove down there, right?
Yeah, we made the drive. Never again. That's a 20-hour drive I'll never make on this earth ever again.
Just make sure your mic's on.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Who cares?
It's fucking amateur hour.
So what were the highlights? Like, what were the highlights for you? Pee-wee?
Pee-wee.
Right?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure or Big Holiday, whatever.
That was
It was
good.
big
I was a
holiday.
fan.
Yeah, I sat right in front of Paul Rubens and the director and the writer, and it was an absolute joy.
I don't get how they stole the story of how me and you met, though.
Oh, well, that's why we're getting the lawyers on them. So, I mean,
But it was definitely worth seeing. Like, it was good.
well, you haven't seen it yet?
No.
It's
It's
Go see it now!
Yes,
It's
you have to
hilarious.
see it.
I had seen
Oh, it's
Batman vs.
amazing.
It's
Superman,
just
right?
as good as you want it to be.
Yeah,
It is so
lives
good.
to the expectations.
And
Yeah.
when did
It's
Joe
good.
Manganiello
Magnamello.
become
Guys,
like the
It's made
funniest?
of lemon.
No, when did he become the
Batman,
funniest person
I
on
don't know.
earth?
Right?
Between that and Magic Mike, he's
Mhm.
hilarious.
Is it?
He
He
Yeah.
is really good.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
Okay, let's see what else. I watched Miles Ahead.
Okay. This is Miles Davis.
Tell a little bit.
No,
more.
Miles Teller. It's, Don Cheadle plays Miles Teller. No, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Cheadle is absolutely going to get a nomination. I hope so. I actually don't know when the movie's being released. But his performance is electrifying.
Okay.
Like, it's so good. And he's just so cool in the movie. And you just want to be friends with him.
I think I asked you, like, does the whispering voice, does that ever get annoying?
No, never,
Okay.
never.
You said
In fact,
it was like,
when you see the movie, you'll want to speak in a whisper like, forever. It's so outstanding. And Ewan McGregor is in it, and he's amazing. It's a very subtle performance. I mean, he's playing against, Don Cheadle in his best performance of his career. Well, one of them, maybe. I don't know. Hotel Rwanda's
I
pretty
was
great.
going to say,
Yeah, and he doesn't try and get in the way of Don Cheadle. He realizes who the big star is, and he's great. And watching the two of them interact together is it's just a joy to see. And it doesn't cover his whole life. It covers just a pivotal moment in the life of Miles Davis,
okay.
which is how biopics should be. And after the film, Don Cheadle was doing a Q&A. He was talking about how he didn't want to make a film where it's like a checklist of events in the life, and that's the perfect way to write and direct a biopic. It reminded me a lot of Lincoln, how it just takes place over a month in his life. And you don't want to cram everything in, because then so much is going to get lost. And with Miles Ahead, you just get little nuggets here and there of his marriage, and you just get all you need to know to understand where he's at in life when the film's taking place.
I feel like that's kind of where the Johnny Cash biopic kind of failed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Ray, and
Ray, too?
yeah, they try to do so much. And apparently the new biopic about
Nina Simone?
no, the one Hank Williams.
Oh, yeah, okay. Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, well, that was supposed to come out in November to be Oscar bait, but apparently it's just a run-of-the-mill biopic, so they held off on releasing that. What else did I see? I watched Keanu.
So excited.
which I've heard great things
so
about.
excited.
Is that the
Key and Peele.
Yeah.
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 Nice.
Yeah, and they were there. They handed out T-shirts,
That's awesome.
and the movie is so much funnier than I thought it was going to be
Yeah?
because I'm not a fan of that trailer.
Yeah.
And they don't give away anything. It's
There's still some pretty
one of
good
the
jokes
best
in it.
comedies of the year.
There's still some pretty good jokes despite the trailer.
Oh, it's filled with jokes. Every 3 minutes is an amazing joke, and it's directed by, I believe, Peter Atencio, who has directed all the episodes of Key and Peele.
Oh, nice.
I believe.
Cool.
I think. I'm almost positive. I'm like 99% positive. And there's so much energy to the film, and there aren't a whole lot of cameos, or there are maybe 2 cameos.
Okay.
One's in the trailer, which I appreciated. I'm glad they didn't try and cram it in with all these people.
Yeah.
I find that distracting. And same with Pee-wee. There's one cameo by a random, I won't say who it is, a random actor at the party at the end, and it's so bizarre because of who it is. But it works. Okay, so let's see, what else did I watch? I watched a lot of horror movies. I saw Don't Breathe and Hush. So, they're both home invasion movies. Don't Breathe is directed by Fede Alvarez, who directed the Evil Dead remake in 2013, which I loved.
Which is pretty good, yeah.
And this movie is about, it takes place in Detroit, and the same actress who is in Evil Dead is the star in this one. I can't think of her name at the moment. I will probably in like 2 hours. But she and her boyfriend and her friend, they rob houses to make money. And her friend, his dad owns a security company, so he's able to get the keys to these houses. So all these people are at work, they break in, turn the alarm off, take everything. And they always make sure that the value is below, I believe, $10,000. So it's not...
Not a felony.
Yeah. And they find out about this house where it's a retired vet and his daughter was killed, and the family settled with him. So there's like $500,000 stored away in this home. It's at the end of like 8 Mile. So it's the only occupied house. So they break in, and the vet is played by Stephen Lang from, I guess, Avatar is where most people would recognize him
Oh,
from.
okay.
But he's been in so
Probably
many
to be cable.
great films in his career. He plays the blind vet, and he finds out where they are, and he traps them in his house. And it's the best parts of like Panic Room, the best parts of like People Under the Stairs, all those sensibilities in this one house. But it's never a rip-off. It never rips these films off. It just takes little morsels of ideas, and it is electrifying.
And that was Hush?
Yeah, no, that was Don't Breathe.
Don't Breathe.
And you'll be on the edge of your seat. Like, there were moments where the audience was just silent. Like, you really don't want to breathe. Like, it lives up to its name, and it's very confident. It's not as gory. It's actually not that gory at all. I'm not sure what it's going to be rated, but it doesn't need to be. It just relies on unbearable tension throughout. Like, once they enter the house, it's game over. Like, it's a white knuckle thriller until the very end.
So you just said it hasn't been rated. Is that a common thing for South by Southwest? So
Yeah. There are signs posted everywhere that say all films are unrated.
okay.
Even though some are, it's just...
So when it comes to main theaters, it could be altered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't know that.
There's something else. There's one thing I didn't like about Don't Breathe. There's a jump scare. It's a cheap jump scare at the beginning of the film, right when they're about to go in. The dog jumps at the car. And it ruins what should be the first big jump scare, because there aren't a whole lot of jump scares. And to have this dog be the first jump scare, this really cheap moment in the film, it ruins later, because when you're making a horror film and you introduce the first jump scare, you've lost the trust of your audience. I mean, it's just what happens.
Yeah.
Your audience is going to be aware of the cards you have up your sleeve, and if they just got rid of that, there's a moment in the house that would be absolutely horrifying, and it's still effective, but not as effective because you've had that cheap jump scare.
You set the pretense that this is going to be one of those movies.
So it's only like 5 seconds, if that. And they just got to get rid of that. But Hush is about a deaf writer, and she lives in the middle of nowhere, and her only friends are her couple that live down the street. So she's home alone one night, and this guy tries to invade her home, and she has to defend herself. So where one has a blind antagonist, this has a deaf protagonist, and this Hush was written and directed by I can't remember anything right now. The same filmmaker who did Oculus.
I loved
Oculus
Oculus. That was
Which is a film I was lukewarm on, but this is a classic. This is it's I liked it. I prefer it over Don't Breathe, just barely. It's just barely a better film. And once again, you'll be on the edge of your seat the whole time. It doesn't rely on gore. There are moments of violence, and because they're used so sparingly, they are effective, and you feel it, and they're nasty. There's one kill early on, and it's just so disturbingly sexual in nature, and it's grisly. And the actor who plays the intruder, John Gallagher Jr., he was in Short Term 12, and he's brilliant in that movie. And I think he's in, I know he's in 10 Cloverfield Lane. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently he's really good in that movie. And he's terrifying in this movie. I didn't even know it was him until the end credits. And when you first see the guy, he's wearing a white mask, and he takes it off almost immediately. So the rest of the film is just him, his real face, which is more effective than having a mask the whole time.
Yeah.
Let's see, films I hated.
Sausage Party?
Sausage Party. The Seth Rogen comedy. I love Seth Rogen. And before I watched Sausage Party, I watched Preacher, the pilot.
Oh, how was that? Before you get to such
Perfect.
Okay.
I don't know anything about the comics.
Picture perfect.
But I'm on board with the show.
Okay.
I had no idea what to expect going in, and it won me over immediately. And I'm not a fan of Walking Dead. I know a lot of people are, and I'm happy for it. I'm not. But I am completely on board with Preacher. It gets everything right.
Okay.
It has tremendous energy. The performances are a blast. And Seth Rogen was there, and I had such high hopes for Sausage Party or Sausage Fest. I forgot what it's called.
Sausage Party.
Sausage Party. And it's one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life.
That bad.
Is it just unfunny, or?
It is not funny at all. And the theater, they were in stitches. I didn't understand it. I did not understand it. I sat there in silence. There was one chuckle, and it was a parody of the Saving Private Ryan opening scene.
Right, yeah. That's in the trailer.
Yeah, which is in the trailer.
And that's the one scene where I smiled and I giggled. It is horrible. They what constitutes as a joke in this movie is saying a line and adding profanity to it.
That's
Which
what's
is
not
trailer.
in the trailer.
Funny. It's
That's
not
the trailer.
not
Because you watch the Red
funny.
Band trailer and it's just vulgarity after vulgarity.
Yes.
And it tries,
That
you know,
was it.
and there are stereotypes in it of everybody on Earth. There's so many stereotypes, and they don't work. They're not offensive. They're not clever. It's not witty. It's atrocious. It is terrifyingly bad. And I don't know. I feel like I'm in some sort of Twilight Zone episode because everybody seems to enjoy this film, and I don't understand it. And I am so easy when it comes to comedy. I laugh so easy. It takes next to nothing to make me giggle. And I just sat there for 90 minutes, the longest 90 minutes of my life. It was just the worst. And afterwards, Seth Rogen said that they've been trying to get it made for 6 years, and that when they started, they had an idea with one scene in the film, which happens at the very end, and that was the beginning of Sausage Party.
Oh, okay.
So they wrote a movie around this one scene, and the scene isn't even that good. It's, once again, yeah, I'm not going to give it away, but you'll know when you see it. It's not funny. It's not clever, and you're like, what the hell? Why? So that was bad. Oh, and it got me thinking, like, how is it? When was Blazing Saddles? 40 years ago?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
That is still more enjoyable, smarter than so many comedies that come out today that try to push the envelope. None of them can hold a candle to Blazing Saddles.
I don't think anybody really tries to push the envelope.
Oh, Sausage Party.
Yeah, I know, Sausage Party, but like the slew of Kevin Hart movies.
Oh,
Mhm.
God.
Well, I was also thinking of, like, Dictator.
Oh, I see what you mean,
Yeah.
So yeah. Do not see it. But you will. I saw another movie called In the Valley of Violence. You should have, like, a timer. So, like, I have, like, a minute to talk about each film, and it dings and I move on. It's an Ethan Hawke film. It's a Western. It's, everything about it is good. It also has John Travolta. It has Karen Gillian.
Okay.
It has Tessa Farmiga. I'm forgetting a couple names. It has a great cast. Travolta is superb in it. And the music's great. It's a Western. It's sort of like a Western John Wick, where Ethan Hawke rolls into this town. Someone tries to fight him. He wins. He leaves the town. The people track him down, kill his dog. He goes back and gets revenge. And someone brought that up in the Q&A, and Ty West, the writer director, he kind of was like, I know, but, you know, obviously they started it, you know, before they knew of John Wick.
Yeah.
But it's a good movie, but I would never see it again. It's forgettable. Let's see. Okay, what else? I saw a movie called Spaceship, which was another very, very bland film. And it takes place in a British town, and there are teenagers, and they sit around spewing empty philosophical jargon at each other and monologues, and you know, a lot of it was improvised, and you can tell because watching it I was like, God, this shit wasn't clever 13 years ago when I was in high school, and it's not deep now.
Is it like
it's
the millennials version
just
of reality?
hollow
Is this
and
that one James Franco movie?
No. no.
Okay. I just
Yeah,
associate
it's just-
shit like that.
just
with James Franco, I think.
empty musings about life and you're just like, ugh, move on. But you know what? Teenagers are going to love this movie. And good for them. They are going to connect to this movie and then they're going to graduate from high school and they're going to revisit it when they're like 21 and be like, what was I thinking? Yeah, I'm only going to talk about a few more. I saw another one called Greasy Strangler, which would be a great, great, great short film. It has an aesthetic to it, which is very much like, what are their names? I'm forgetting. Tim and Eric.
Okay.
It's like if a teenager watched Tim and Eric and say, what would a horror movie be like? What would a sci-fi film be like? If Tim and Eric were to direct it. That's what Greasy Strangler is. And the joke goes on for too long, and you realize that the filmmakers only have like 2 jokes, and they've been repeating them. And sorry, Brian is calling in from Why So Blue. Yeah, it's not good. So I think that's gonna let's wrap up South by Southwest.
Right.
If I think of something else, I'll bring it in. But as of right now, that's it. So should we talk about
Okay.
the bat?
Let's talk about the big one.
The bat in the room.
The Batman, the Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. It's probably one of the worst titles ever.
Wait, we have him, Brian.
Hey.
Oh,
Very
Hey,
special guest.
introduce
I got-
yourself.
Who am I on with?
Oh, that's a mystery you'll never ever know.
Hey Brian, this is Shohan.
We have
Hey,
Shohan,
Shohan.
Erica, Jerad, and myself.
We need to edit this so it flows in better, right?
No, we are not going to
It's
edit
a
this.
rough cut.
I say we do not edit this. Okay, so you're right on time because we just finished talking about South by Southwest, and we're moving on to Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Just us.
Spoiler loud, right?
Oh yeah, for those listening, this is
Spoiler.
completely spoiler filled. So starting in 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Superman dies.
But
But no, he doesn't. Okay, wait. Can we talk about the fact that... Okay, 2 things make me laugh a lot in this movie. Number 1, when Batman is killing people
I love
and his Batmobile just mowing people down. Didn't he put a tracker on that truck, so why is he killing all these people?
Yeah.
And B, he is just slaughtering people, and it cuts to his face, and he has the same expression I have when I'm like waiting in line at like Starbucks. It's just so like whatever, just another day going to the office.
I mean, at a certain point, you gotta get rid of that code of never killing anybody when your Robin gets murdered in front of you.
I guess so, but he looks so bored. He's like, doop, 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 doop. My GPS turned me around.
Well, it's because murdering these murderers is old hat now. It's over 20 years. So he's probably been killing people for a good 7 years.
For a good 7?
Wait, when did Robin get killed?
I don't know.
They don't even mention that in the movie, though, so there's no pretense to...
It's implied with the outfit there,
With the
but that was
outfit,
it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So wait, let me get the record straight here, Jordan. Those are the two comedic moments for you. So,
Oh wait, no.
what-
There's another one where when he's talking with Superman, when Superman crashes his car and lets the kryptonite get away. By the way, Superman lets the kryptonite get away because isn't that what Batman's getting at?
Shocking, yeah.
Right.
The kryptonite in the car. So Superman just interrupts Batman's like.
Oh, but Superman didn't know that.
And he lets him get away. So, but when he crashes the Batmobile, and Batman says that famous line, "Do you bleed?" I love how Superman just looks at him. He's like, "Screw you," and he just flies away. He just ignores Batman, but Batman still continues talking. He's like, "You will."
You can hear him though. Weird.
So I got to see it again yesterday for the second time, and
yeah, so did I.
I got to tell you, Jordan, I think my favorite moment. Well, not my favorite moment. My favorite comedic moment is when he's beating the crap out of Superman, just about to put that spear of kryptonite through him, and he utters Martha. Why would you say that? Why would you say that name? Why? That's
Why would
that's
you say
probably
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really didn't make sense because, like, in an extreme situation like that, you wouldn't call your mom by her name. You'd be like, "He's got my mom." That's what you would say. It wouldn't be, "He's got my Martha."
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Yeah. Wait, you don't have a Martha, Brian?
I did, but she died when I was a kid. It was a next door neighbor.
So you fight crime now, right?
She did give. She had good butterscotch though. I remember that.
It's a crime that she's gone. Okay, but I think we all pretty much enjoyed the film, though, right?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know.
Jerad and I have talked about this.
It was way too long for what it was doing. Like, watching it once was enough for me, because 2.5 hours just to get to the payoff, which is the fight with Doomsday, is just way too long. And some of the lines are so clunky.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when he says in the beginning, he's narrating, and he says, once something has fallen...
No, once something has fallen, it has fallen.
Yeah,
like that.
it's
It was
so
horrible.
ridiculous.
Really?
And redundant. And it's Zack Snyder trying to be poetic, and it comes off just awful.
Terrible.
When he's so good at action, and yet he's pulling all the punches until the very end. Like, I feel like he should play to his strengths more. The film was just way too long.
Yeah. There were a lot of things, too, I felt were really unnecessary reasoning or really, really weak premises, like, or little things that were happening. The picture that Wonder Woman wants back so bad, that was one. I was like, wait a minute, so let me get this straight. You're looking for a copy of an original photo that's been uploaded digitally, and then, oh, by the way, Batman now has a copy, and now you get the third copy. Like, that's great.
Yeah, like, do you not understand computers?
What the hell? Yeah, like, that whole premise, like, did not work at all. So you're trying to track down this copy, but it's already uploaded. It was just totally outdated. It doesn't work today. That whole thing did not work.
Well, how about Bruce Wayne just sneaking down into the cellar to steal that from the servers?
It's completely unlocked.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, like, no one's gonna see that,
Yeah. And of course, like, Jerad was talking about with Wes, that night you guys were talking about Doomsday. How, like, that was the backup plan? Like, to build or make Doomsday, right? Like,
wait. Why did Luthor put his blood? Watching it the second time, I still don't understand why he put his blood in the pool.
I think maybe to give Doomsday the impression that, like, maybe he's thinking that if I have the same genetic material as this monster, he won't be inclined to kill me. Maybe he'll...
so like Victor Frankenstein kind of crap.
Yeah, like maybe he'll follow my orders or something. But I think he was doing that to influence the monster to a degree.
But then the monster goes and tries to punch him, and Superman, being the Boy Scout he is, saves Lex Luthor.
Sure.
It's like, that's his contingency plan to kill Superman, is to make Doomsday, but Doomsday would destroy the Earth.
It's kind of like the rationale of, like, if you infested with rats, and then you
burn the house down.
No, well, like, then you like get a bunch of snakes for the rats, and then you get gorillas for the snakes.
Like that Simpsons episode. Oh, they'll die off in the winter.
It didn't work well at all.
And I love the scene when Batman gets the checks when Scoot McNairy appears on television in his wheelchair. And he's like, haven't we been sending him checks? And he gets all the checks. And they're like, you let your family die? Like,
What does that mean? Like, it was so ridiculous.
Am I supposed to believe that he thinks Superman got these checks and then wrote in crayon on them and then sent them back to Bruce Wayne? Like, what am I supposed to infer from that scene?
So apparently, I think Lex Luthor intercepted those checks.
Yeah, like, I understand that.
Back.
But what is Batman supposed to think those... He's Batman. He's supposed to be the greatest detective.
Why would that make him want to kill Superman?
It only incenses his anger towards Superman.
Yeah, why would that do that? Like, that makes no sense.
I think it's just more fanning the fire because he already kind of hates Superman. And then when the Senate hearing gets blown up, that's kind of like the straw that breaks the camel's back. And I think those checks were just another way to also turn that wheelchair guy against Bruce. In a way.
So was he?
Eventually.
I mean...
Okay, let's talk about what's good about the movie.
Yes.
Oh, you know what I thought was great about the movie.
Ben Affleck?
Totally. Ben Affleck. Actually, he was
loved
really
him.
good.
I thought he
did
did
great.
a great service
I think
to the
he's a
movie.
good
I
Batman.
thought he was a really good Batman.
Mhm.
I liked his Bruce Wayne.
I like that voice modulator thing. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was pretty
great.
cool. Like, I liked
Some
the
of his
Batcave
outfits
was really nice.
were- Yeah,
Okay.
the suits. So I said outfits. Yeah, anyway, for Heidi. No,
But-
the really bulky one. I was like,
What, Brian?
okay.
Yeah, I still have a problem with that outfit. It was just too puffy.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it was
It's-
like
it's-
bulky.
Very
And-
buffy.
And I'm not going to bash it, but I mean, he's wearing armor 1 minute, and the next thing he's in that jet, and he has a bulky outfit on.
Right?
Yes.
Like,
Take
he
that
changed
armor off.
wardrobe to go save Martha. He was like, let me change first.
But it made
I
that
think
scene way more badass.
But I think he stopped at Starbucks too in a way to get some Granny's peach tea. But
And, like, his bat suit seems to have the same design flaw as Michael Keaton's bat suit, where you can't turn your head. You can just turn your torso.
They solved that functionally with Nolan's films, and they just went right back to that.
But he
But
did
I
turn
saw
his
that before this movie even came out. So
Did he with the bat
the
cow?
bulky one?
Yeah, when he's fighting or about to fight Doomsday, and he gives that line, it's like, "I thought the shoe was with you." He turns his head; it's not his whole body. And
yeah, I
missed
mean,
that.
that mask was rubber, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like the rubberized, like it was the same design as Michael Keaton's, it looked like.
I heard they did CG on part of his neck to
To
fill it out.
hide the head turn.
Well, to fill it out so it wasn't just like the motorcycle helmet style.
Oh, yeah.
So, Brian, I heard you have some behind the scenes notes or tips. Such.
Yeah, so I've been in touch. I was hoping to have him on the show actually tonight, but he's on the East Coast, so it's kind of late for him. His name is Gregg from Senko. I can give him a call out on fatmovieguy.com. But he has actually a really good friend that's the storyboard artist for this particular movie that worked night and day at the home Snyder. So day after the screening, I had a lot of questions. Of course, there was. I don't want to say it's information overload, but if you're not a fan, if you're not a geek of all the comics, the animated series, a lot of the stuff that they present to you in this movie kind of goes over your head. So he was there to kind of fill it all in. I mean, from everything from what all those cameos meant to Cyborg to all the Easter eggs planted for Darkseid coming, Star Wars references and whatnot. But he actually put together some really cool spoiler warning material about things that people probably just overlook. It's pretty much analyzed and explained in his column on fatmovieguy.com. But he put together some really cool things that, I like to call it some attention to. Like, for example, the what I thought when I first saw it was that dream sequence where, Flash is saying at the end of it, you got to find Lois. But the Batman, I watched it the first time, and I'm like, man, this is horrible choreography outside of that cargo truck and whatnot when he has the sand goggles on. He's fighting out there in the desert.
Yeah.
People are just
but then,
moving around him.
Well,
yeah,
he has 3 people point guns at him, not fire, and then wait for him to choreograph
There's
his
one
punches.
there's one guy that literally drops to his knee, holds out his gun, and looks at Batman.
Yeah, it's a cue. Okay, beat me up now.
Right.
I'm watching that scene unfold for the first time, and I'm like, okay, please let this be a dream because this is horrible. and it was a dream sequence, but when you step back and further analyze it, I mean, I don't know. You guys know about that dream sequence and what it all means and everything, or am I kind of telling you things that you already know?
I mean, I know it's like a representation of like Superman taking over and then Darkseid taking over, I think, right?
Yeah, so I guess Darkseid makes Superman the lieutenant, and this is events yet to come, of course. And that's when he makes that reference to Lois is my world when he first says that, and it kind of gets echoed throughout the movie. But this is events yet to come, and the Flash. I mean, you probably know about the Flash more than I do, but yeah, you see the TV show back from the '80s, whatever that was. He can run fast, but not only can he run fast, he can break space-time continuum. So that the ending of that dream sequence is actually Flash coming to warn Batman, breaking space-time continuum. But does that mean that sloppy fight incident actually happens? I'm not sure about that.
Well, I guess we'll find out in Justice League when Superman returns.
Yeah.
He'll just fly around the Earth 3 times in reverse time.
That dream sequence, though, has been so prominent in the marketing, and it's such a nothing moment in the film. It could be deleted.
I think that's probably the biggest thing that the Warner Brothers screwed themselves as far as critical acclaim is they released so much friggin' footage that everybody formed an opinion and had all this baggage going into the movie. Like, even though, like, that stuff is in the movie, I feel like if you would have gone in fresh without seeing it all, you still would have been, yeah, that was kind of dumb. But this part was cool.
Yeah, it primes you too much.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was going in thinking, like, oh, cool, we'll see Batganistan, like, and beating up people in the Middle East. Like, I was like, that could be all right. Like, I don't know where they're going with that, but...
So... Yeah, I get you. I mean, it was a kind of a big tease, but from what I'm told, it's kind of events in the movie yet to come, so that'll play a much bigger role in the world like Jordan's in Justice League. So, but moving on to the cameos, I'm not sure if you guys felt about those. In my opinion, Aquaman was a total waste. That was
Aquaman. Was the worst.
It was like a L'Oreal ad.
Just Jason Momoa holding his breath coming out of, like, and he looks uncomfortable. Like,
the Flash scene, that was okay, but again, nothing noteworthy. The one that kind of threw me for a loop, though, and I don't know anything about this guy. I'm guilty of not having a single cyborg comic or care in the world, but the cyborg scene where not only is it Dr. Pepper product placement there, but also Miles Dyson from Terminator 2, I guess, plays his father, and that's him in Star Labs trying to save his son, and he's recording all those experiments via video. And again, I don't know how you would know this if you didn't have his backstory or knowledge about this. But supposedly that cube is what's called I forget what it's called now. One of Darkseid's mother boxes. And
the mother box.
And it's like an implanted device that opens and forms what I'm told is called a boom tube, some kind of portal from Darkseid's planet of Apocalypse, and that's how he enters the world and his demons and whatnot. But that gets activated and obviously spawns life to Cyborg there. But having not had that knowledge or somebody tell me that, I would never have guessed that from that scene.
I even know about the mother boxes, like, loosely in boom tubes, but, like, I would have never inferred that. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like,
so I think earlier in the movie when Perry is having Superman cover sports and, like, when that athlete, it's something about a tragic loss or something, I think that's the athlete they're referring to. He has some kind of severe injury, and then his dad tries to fix him, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I think, you're right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, see, that totally went over my head again.
Yeah.
But that's the cool thing about this movie, though. I mean, it's not a dumbed down movie when you really sit back and analyze it. I mean, there's a lot to take in, and again, I'm getting this straight from the storyboard artist too, so it's not like I'm inferring and making this stuff up as well.
Yeah, I did enjoy the film.
Yeah.
Like for all the nitpicks I have with it, I saw it twice, and yeah, it's a fun little flick, and it's not the best setup that they could have done for their whole movie universe, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. And some people are walking away from this that I've heard and just like they seem destroyed.
Right?
And I'm like, people,
It's just a movie.
Well, I mean, if we're counting Jordan, I think Scott Mendelson of Forbes wrote maybe like 26 articles in the past 36 hours about it, right?
I said maybe 38.
38, okay. But in his defense, he still says go see it, right?
Yeah. And I haven't seen it on IMAX, but I imagine it's phenomenal because I believe he filmed scenes with IMAX cameras.
I did see it in IMAX, and there was the at the very end. I think it's cropped off in the regular version, but there's a Star Wars Easter egg where he has on his Lex Luthor has on his prison garment TK whatever that number is, referencing Star Wars in his prison cell.
Oh.
And I guess you can only see that in IMAX. It's cropped off from the regular.
Huh, that's cool.
That's interesting.
And I was just bringing this up too, and maybe this is just my old age, but correct me if I'm wrong. Do you guys remember the days when the theaters used to actually like raise the screens to hide the cropping for the aspect ratios?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore. It's just like, I think 'cause people are so numb for having widescreen TVs and black bars, they don't care.
Yeah.
Getting back on the subject.
Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of people about this movie, like trying to explain to them it's worth seeing, but like it does have some faults. But the best way I've been able to describe it is if you took someone who had never heard or seen Batman, Superman, or Wonder Woman, didn't know anything about them, and they just took a day and just kind of brushed up on some movies, comics, cartoons, whatever, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is incredible! Justice League is amazing! This is great!" And then they made a movie the next day. That's kind of how the movie would come out. Cause
That's a really good way to explain everything.
Because like the Batman's parents getting murdered in the beginning, like he didn't need to see that again.
And they revisit that like 3 times in flashbacks.
Yeah.
And it's the same flashback, and there's nothing new to it. We don't learn anything new.
Just the pearl necklace breaking.
It's the same pearls, yeah.
Yeah. Which was really suggestive. But, I'm like,
pearl necklaces look great on screen.
Especially with a gun going off.
The one scene that they could have definitely taken out is the Kevin Costner cameo.
Why didn't we get a Russell Crowe cameo?
That's a good question.
He wasn't available.
Yeah, when Eisenberg goes in to the ship,
yeah,
and he pushes the little
the Superman.
Wasn't that the one for Russell Crowe?
That was the.
Oh wait.
Wasn't that the one that activated him?
Zod deleted him.
Zod had him removed from the computer. Yeah.
You Control-Alt-deleted him.
You got me. You got me. I'll have to rewatch that.
Yeah.
Michael Shannon was great. Just his lifeless naked body floating.
So Wes had a few notes, and I wanted to share them
3 pages of notes
with everybody.
Yes.
No, it's not 3 pages. So he talked about the same things we talked about: the Aquaman and Flash and Cyborg. Yeah, they're lazy. Moving on. He talked about. He said if Bruce was pissed at the destruction caused as a direct result of Superman in the beginning of the movie, why is he fine with it at the end? After all, if Superman had never arrived, neither would Doomsday. If anything, I felt that Batman would have wanted to kill Superman more by the end. But when they fought, though, there weren't any civilians around.
No, they were fighting in a deserted area.
Doomsday took out some helicopters, though.
Yeah.
Doomsday made it a deserted area.
Some
Like the
people
end of the
need to
film.
die. Let's just be honest.
That's at a certain point, Batman himself says this is a deserted island or factory. Oh, it's a news reporter that says,
Yeah, isn't it
luckily,
Perry?
It's after work hours and there's only like
Yeah.
3 people.
Just the janitor. No one cares about them.
Exactly.
I almost think it was as if the writers were scared to actually go there. Like, what if we really don't need Superman? No. We can't even, like, suggest that completely or go with that idea because then it defeats the whole movie. We need Superman. We need the Justice League. He's good. And, you know, all of a sudden Batman realizes that. Because if they would have furthered that, like how Wes was saying, like, if they would have furthered that, then it just wouldn't have gone the way that it should for a next setup for a movie.
For my biggest complaint is it should have just been called Dawn of Justice. For a movie billed as Batman versus Superman, it had an awful small part of them fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Or even, not even them fighting, but just their conflict between each other was kind of just a small part of the movie.
Yeah, and like I get that they're trying to build tension, but it doesn't pay off.
Not especially.
The tension is weak.
Yeah.
Even that, it's like lukewarm. I don't think it's. I didn't buy it very well. I didn't like it.
What do you think, Brian?
I think it all goes back to marketing, though. I mean, that's the way they got people in the seats. I mean, how many people can say they went and go see a movie that says Batman versus Superman as opposed to just Dawn of Justice? I actually did some research on this today, too, because supposedly when Zack Snyder was pitching this to the studio, Warner Brothers like, so you're going to kill the franchise star, Henry Cavill right now. And they actually made him actually append the title to be Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. And that was their way to be okay with Superman's death. But, I mean, again, it all goes back to the comics. I mean, I know you guys did a podcast, I think it was last weekend, where you guys talking about the lore and your love of, you know, Frank Miller's Returns and the whole Batman vs. Superman showdown. So, I mean, that's going to get people in the seats regardless. But, I mean, who doesn't want to see that? And I kind of disagree. I mean, I think the focus of the movie was on this too. I mean, it was building obviously the larger universe, but for me, the focus was on those two. And the one person I had a problem with that couldn't care less if she was there or not was Wonder Woman. I love the theme song, but you know, for me, the biggest reason to have her in that movie was to have that lasso. I mean, she didn't have that lasso. How would they have stabbed Doomsday? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got. Go ahead.
Yeah, she realistically, rationally, she was pointless in the movie, but I thought she was one of the best things in the movie, the most entertaining thing.
Like when she showed up, the entire audience erupted,
Yes.
clapping and celebrating this moment because you get the buildup of okay, we know who this person is. Let's hang around all these ritzy parties and going to the cellar with Bruce.
Funny thing you should say that. When I saw it again for the second time, there were some people behind me. I don't know where they were in the last few months, but this one guy behind me, when she comes in her sexy dress and everything, he's like, "Is that Selena Kyle?" And I was like, he doesn't know who the fuck that is. He doesn't know. After all the trailers and everything, is that? No, that's Catwoman. He says to his friend, "No, that's Catwoman." And I'm like, he doesn't know.
You gotta love that confidence.
Right?
Nope. That's the Penguin.
Were you gonna say something, Eric?
Yeah, here was the thing. I went in thinking this is going to be shit. I don't even want to see Wonder Woman. I was thinking it was just, she looked like a supermodel and she wasn't going to know how to act. And I already had very negative feelings going in. And I was like, this isn't for me. When I saw it, I was pleasantly surprised at how intrigued I was. Can't say that she was great as a character or anything because we didn't see enough, but it got me interested. I was hooked. I was like, oh, I'm going to see her movie. It was a good introduction, and I thought she was pretty badass in that fight scene, and I liked how she was yelling and had that war face on it.
She got all giddy.
Yeah, and I really liked that, and I thought as an actual character and finding out all these things about her and her being really present in the movie, sure, she wasn't really present, but as an introduction and as almost like a teaser within the movie, I thought it worked really well. And that music, I was just so like, yes! Like, I think honestly that's part of like the whole hype. Her face, the way she looked when she came in, and then that music just started playing, and it was just so like a roller coaster. You knew shit was on. Like, it was good.
That was like the moment in the movie where I was like, okay, this is awesome.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one hell of a third act. I mean, you cannot deny that. At least, I mean, you can bash the movie all you want, but that third act is, how you do it.
Good.
If Wes were here,
and going back to Wes's notes, I do have to agree with him on. I think the next point you're going to get to, Jordan, was the death of Superman, and it was pretty ballsy I thought how they went there, and I wasn't expecting that actual Doomsday comic book line to come through, but I would have been happier if they didn't like Wes said it. They did a disservice at the end when they saw the dirt rising. Yeah. I kind of would have liked to go out knowing is he really dead?
But the thing is, I feel like every single person who sees this film is going to know that Superman is not dead.
I agree with you.
Because the fans of the film and who
you're saying that now, but I mean, I think it was Shohan who just said that someone didn't even know who Wonder Woman was. So there are people out there. I mean, there are people next to me in the theaters bawling their eyes out, grown men. I mean, but then and their significant other, it's going to be okay to see that dirt coming back up. It's like, oh man, you should have cut out.
I love how that person has to reassure him. You see that dirt go, you need to stop crying. We're going to get a divorce.
That's one of my biggest complaints with the movie, though, is it felt like there was 5 endings. I
didn't feel that way.
Forever, it felt like to me.
I agree with you.
There was so many moments where they should have just cut and rolled credits.
There was an issue in the Dark Knight Rises kind of had the same issue where it's this one person, these 2 people died at the same time, quote, at the same place, and the world at large it's not supposed to assume, oh, Clark Kent is Superman. In the Dark Knight Rises, Batman dies saving, the atom bomb or whatever.
And there's a line Bruce Wayne dies or something like that.
Right, exactly.
And then in this one it's Daily Planet reporter Clark Kent dies in explosion or something like that.
Which they could have just mentioned the military burial instead of continually jumping between that and the actual burial.
Yeah.
But I liked that though. I liked that.
I thought it was too long.
It felt clunky to me.
Yeah. Well, I think that coupled with the whole scene where Bruce Wayne goes and sees Mr. Crazy Pants Lex Luthor in jail, that was so...
that should have been the final scene.
It was pick one or the other.
Yeah.
You can't have all 3.
I mean, but the military funeral kind of illustrated how at least America at large would, came to embrace him. He became a martyr.
But you could do that so much easier, just have a newspaper that says that, or have them mention it.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Or they didn't have to show Clark Kent's whole funeral. Just having Amy Adams right there at Clark Kent's grave.
The less Amy Adams in this movie, the better.
Oh my!
I do not want more Amy Adams ever in these movies.
I agree with you, Jordan. That's one of my biggest problems with Man of Steel. I just did not like the character in that movie. But in this one, she actually felt essential to the story. So.
But the things with the bullets, I thought that was absurd. I thought every single moment with Amy Adams investigating those bullets, I thought I would rather see a scene with Batman or Superman or
working out,
Bruce Wayne talking with Alfred.
The Rocky IV training montage.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy Adams just...
and I love Amy Adams.
Yeah.
And this movie really, really wants to make her important. And she never is.
But you see, the Flash says she's the key member.
But you don't need a little detour with her going to the general from the last movie and having that conversation and having her show up at the end, and you don't need all this stuff with Amy Adams. Her screen time should have been cut down by half.
Easily.
I liked her interactions with Perry, though.
Yeah, no, I liked her interactions at the office. I liked the interactions with her at home. I thought their home life was cute.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh, they really love each other. Okay, I buy it.
Bought that? You bought that they love each other?
I bought it more than her going around investigating what prototype bullets from Lex Luthor. Yeah.
Oh, that's a sad romance.
I liked when he jumped in the tub with her. I thought that was adorable.
Oh, God.
Let's talk about Mark
God.
Zuckerberg. I mean, Lex Luthor real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, God, they're trying way too hard to make him, like, this tech startup, like, billionaire a-hole.
See, I didn't get that.
Oh, I got it. Yeah,
Oh,
that was very evident. But
yeah.
we the world needed a new spin on Lex Luthor, right?
I liked what Eisenberg brought to the role.
Yeah.
I liked that he made insane choices for this character. And he went all the way with it. He did not hold back on this batshit performance.
Yeah, if we would have had just like a regular Joe, like a Bryan Cranston or whomever, I feel like this movie would have gotten way dull every time we went to it.
And
Well,
I
rumor
agree.
is... No, go ahead.
But I feel like he's, as a character, like Jesse Eisenberg, maybe I can buy that he's really young and he's this young Lex Luthor, but like his character is so poorly written. And I mean, we sat here trying
Like
to figure out his
everyone in the
motivations.
movie is poorly written.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, everybody does a good job. It's just they have crap tools to work with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, they do their best. I feel like Ben Affleck probably did the most to salvage his role, but even then, some of his narration's clunky, and then you have Jesse
Well, I feel
Eisenberg.
like the narration was a studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, this definitely smells of post-production, like, producers getting their hands on it and saying, no, you need to do this. Much like they had Harrison Ford narrate Blade Runner because they thought no one would get it. Like, it feels exactly the same, so...
But okay, I have a serious question for everybody here. And maybe I'm just stupid when it comes to incarceration. And Wes actually wrote it as well.
Yeah.
But why did they shave his head at the end? Is that a thing that happens in some prisons? If it is, all right.
Not in
I've
modern
never ever
Yeah, not
heard of
modern
that.
That's a military thing. That's
Yeah.
not-
Yeah.
Like maybe in other countries where they have serious lice problems or something like that.
Yeah. Is there a lice problem? Where is that?
I think they used to do that in like the 20s, but that's not
Yeah,
something
but
they do now. Yeah.
When there was outbreaks of like cholera and stuff.
Exactly.
that was his
Exactly.
real punishment, is
Yeah.
they shave his head and then let him go, and he
Yeah.
cries about his losing his locks.
That would have been great if it was a wig the whole time.
Oh, that's what I was. That's what I thought.
That would
That's
be
what
great.
that's what I thought too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if Holly Hunter snatched his wig off.
That would have been awesome.
One of my favorite moments in the film is when Holly Hunter is looking at the jar. Her expression is priceless.
It's pretty great.
And at Comic-Con last year, Snyder said that he's always wanted to work with Holly Hunter, and she was there at the panel.
Oh, nice.
And that he wrote the role specifically for her. And I love Holly Hunter.
She's great.
And that moment in the film is outstanding. It makes no sense. It's like, once again,
Right.
it's not like when you think about it, it falls apart. But her reaction to that jar is hilarious.
Yeah.
And it makes you realize what a national treasure Holly Hunter is. I love that moment.
That's pretty great. So wait, I wonder, was that guy in the wheelchair? Was he supposed to be?
Well, he's the guy at the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just wondering if he was supposed to be like referential to a character in the comics. Because initially, when Bruce ran up to him in the beginning of the movie, he's like, "Hey, your name's Wally, right?" I was like, "Holy crap, Wally West!" But I don't he is the Flash or any Flash. I think he's just a guy.
Yeah, like I think he was just a person that moved the plot along. Yeah,
Bruce Wayne played.
Yeah, which I have to admit, I did laugh
Oh,
when
shit.
Lex Luthor.
Jordan.
Sorry, Jordan setting the house on fire.
It scared me so bad. Sorry.
I did laugh when Lex Luthor had his Professor
All I
Xavier
saw
moment
was a flame, like in the
and turns
in
around in
back.
the wheelchair.
Wait, sorry.
Which
Sam.
I
Yeah.
don't know if it was intentional.
Sorry, we had a little.
Sorry.
Just go.
Apparently, we're having safety
Sorry.
issues.
Say that again, Jared.
I thought it was hilarious when Jesse Eisenberg turns around and has his little Lex Luthor moment.
I laughed
or,
out loud. I was like,
Professor
that's
Xavier
freaking
moment.
offensive.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you just go up to one of Bruce Wayne's black employees and blackface? Like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm with you, man.
Yeah, right.
It's weird because I don't think it was intentionally. It was just awkward moment when Scoot McNeary pulls himself up on the statue. Like,
Yeah, that was weird.
people
Yeah.
were laughing because they were so uncomfortable with the idea of a legless man climbing Superman.
I don't know how many times I've heard Lieutenant Dan's got legs. Like, I'm not kidding. Like,
Oh, man.
Lieutenant Dan. It was crazy. So, Shohan, did you like the Lex Luthor character? Like, kind of this crazy Lex Luthor?
I liked what he did with it. I felt like he was like twitchy and awkward, and I really liked the scene at the library or whatever Congress benefit thing, where he's trying to find the perfect words, and he's brilliant, but he's so socially awkward he can't like emote or engage in a way that would relate to anybody. So I felt like that was a genuine performance in that regard. Like maybe it wasn't what everybody was looking for. I liked it, like because everybody's dialogue was pretty terrible, but I thought the performance came across. It was kind of funny.
That's the one time that I actually didn't like him in that role because his character seemed to articulate so well, especially when we first met him at Facebook office. You know, when we first walked in, he's playing basketball, and just the way he talks to the military and those leaders and whatnot, he was so articulate. And then I used to see him fumble at that microphone. It was just so uncomfortable there. I mean, I can see where you're coming from with your sentiments, but it was just like that ruined the character for me for a moment there.
His speech at his party, though, when he's like, "Oh, blah blah blah, free drinks, blah blah blah, the end."
Yeah.
That
is a speech to go down to history.
I mean, maybe he didn't stumble with the military guys because he feels he's better than them. Like when he puts the little Jolly Rancher in the guy's mouth. But when he's at that party, he feels like he's among, quote, his peers or maybe his betters, because those are probably people that knew his dad. So he might have grown up with these people. So,
But I feel like he's Lex Luthor. He's an egomaniac. Like everyone's his lesser. Like he even kills his secretary as like collateral. Like, and he's supposed to be this mastermind. For him to not even have planned this speech just seems clumsy and weird.
well, I mean, it's not a matter. I mean, I think he did plan the speech. I just feel like he kept second guessing himself, and that goes back to his social awkwardness. Like when you get in front of people that you don't feel like you're on the same level with, or maybe you feel a little bit below, and you're already like separated from society at large, like you're gonna fall apart. So
I think for me, like that whole speech where it's like really poignant and then all of a sudden he slips, I think if I'm like, I like how you were analyzing it, like, well, maybe it's because these are people that knew his dad, so there's like history there. There's some sort of reason for this reaction. For me, how I saw it was that it was a way to show that this person who is trying to be charismatic, or who's trying to be like this charismatic, confident person, so people listen to and gain like all that trust. And I felt that it was to show a lapse in his sanity, like specifically, like showing like this person is not all there.
right.
But I don't think, clearly from what everybody's saying, I don't think it actually did it very well. I don't think you got that initially, but I was like, oh, I think that's we're trying to do here at this point. But overall, I liked kind of that the fact that this Lex Luthor was entertainment, like it was entertaining. He was entertaining to watch. I do think Jesse Eisenberg did a good job with what he had. It's not the Lex Luthor I wanted to see, like, at all.
You wanted the serious Lex?
I did. I wanted the mastermind, the, like, complete genius. Like, I really wanted that. And it would actually be really cool to, like, see points of, like maybe an OCD Lex Luthor or something like that. Just being so on top of it and so in control to the point of sanity. But it seemed like this Lex Luthor was just crazy Mad Hatter and almost a little bit of Joker for me. And I wasn't okay with that. I'm like, I don't want this madness. But like I said, it was entertaining, and I think if it wasn't that type of Lex Luthor, it would have been boring.
I feel like I was thinking, I wonder if another reason he stumbled in that speech is because he was trying to show gratitude when he does not care about anything.
It's completely like apathy, yeah, sociopathic.
Yeah.
That's interesting too. I think that's really good.
Or could it be he didn't have any Cherry Jolly Rancher anymore?
That's a safe place.
That was a weird moment.
Yeah.
Like, just how that whole scene was edited.
It
Back
just,
and forth.
Yeah.
And then
it felt like rape. Like, it was
And then he
so,
licked his fingers.
like,
Well, it's definitely like a power play.
yeah, like, it's,
saw what it was trying to do. It didn't do it well. Like, again.
But everybody laughed. It was weird kind of...
it was like that, again, like the legless man climbing on
Yeah.
Superman, where it's just like
What
this
do
really
you
awkward
do?
moment. It's like, I guess we laugh at this. Like,
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg is a madman.
Yeah, it didn't elicit any kind of shock as much it was like raising an eyebrow. Like, how do we...
I don't know if it was supposed to shock you. It was just supposed to be like, look at this decorated military man or politician and this kid shoving a Jolly Rancher in his mouth, and he's just taking it because he wants from the throat.
So it was supposed to be funny. We're not confused on that.
No, it's supposed to be funny.
Jared, what did you think it was made to be funny?
It just felt awkward. Like, it's the only thing you can do is laugh at it.
I don't think
Like-
it was as bad as the Legolas Man.
Yeah,
That's
it's not
true.
as
That
bad as
was
that, but
weird.
again, it's just like, it's supposed to give you insight as to like how disturbed
Right.
and like controlling Lex Luthor is, but you like laugh at it because it makes you feel like awkward, and you're
I
kind
think
of like,
that's the point, though.
maybe you're onto something.
One question that Wes brought up that I was wondering throughout the film, the end of the film, what was Lex going to do with Doomsday if Batman had killed Superman?
So Plan A worked out.
Or no, like if Superman had failed, because the whole plan was for Superman, right, to go kill Batman
Right. And
Well-
and bring his head. But what if Batman had killed Superman?
What's so
Like-
weird about him creating Doomsday in the first place is he doesn't even know Doomsday can exist until the third act, when he finally unlocks that secret room and gets his hold of Michael Shannon's body, and he sits there and the computer says, "Would you like me to tell you Krypton's history?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's learning time." Like, it's so weird and clunky and
well, I
poorly
think,
planned.
I think the reason he went that route is because all of his kryptonite was stolen by Batman.
But he wanted that.
But
to
yeah, but he
happen.
meant for that to happen.
You see him smile when he finds the empty box. He cracks a smile, just barely.
Okay.
Which is a weird moment. I feel we should have seen Batman steal that.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
And it just cuts to the little bat,
Batarang,
yeah, in the case.
yeah.
And I thought, because it just cuts to Lex driving through the gates and the security office, which is on fire. So once again, Batman killed, most likely, whoever was in there. That poor security guard
Set him on
who's
fire.
just making like $12.50 an hour trying to make ends meet for his family. Burned alive by the Batman.
When I saw it again, when Jesse Eisenberg comes in, passing him is an EMT standing on a gurney pushing on a man's chest.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap, Batman did that. And I don't know who that guy was. I hope he was evil.
But he could have just been like attending like college and trying to make ends
Because
meet.
I feel like that moment comes after. I could be wrong, and correct me because you've Shohan or Brian because you've seen it again. It comes after the explosion at the hearing, right? Like, doesn't he just? It cuts to him driving through the gates at LexCorp. I'm like, wait, what happened here? I feel like we should have seen this.
That was edited pretty poorly there.
Yeah. That.
You know, but back to that question about Doomsday and why did Lex create it? I mean, I hate to overanalyze this, but we even know what Lex's mind thought was. I mean, he was already, I guess, past the point of criminal activity, so people are going to be coming after him. But do we even? And it wasn't established in the movie, I don't think, at least very well, is what Lex was actually creating. I mean, what did he think he was creating? With something he could control, or that's the whole thing. I mean, maybe he was creating this ultimate killing machine that he can control and take over the world, but it was never clearly defined that he actually knew what he was doing. But then again, I think someone brought the point with the blood. It's not going to attack him. It didn't seem like.
Yeah, I think his rationale was if I input some of my genetic code into him, he'll see me as a friend, not a foe. Maybe even a father figure, because he's going to be kind of dumb for maybe a little while. And maybe that was the rationale, because early in the movie, he's saying we need a deterrent so that we don't have to rely on monsters. And maybe he's just like, well, maybe we should rely on monsters.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's perfectly fair. Maybe the guy just wanted his own rancor.
His own what?
His own rancor monster.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like in the beginning.
That wasn't the best design, the big ape arms and such.
Yeah, it was kind of funny looking in the early stages.
More than anything, though, I said it before. I enjoy how silly and over the top Batman v Superman is.
Yeah.
I wish it weren't so humorless.
Mm-hmm.
I think if there were more laughs in the movie, people would be responding more positively to it.
Now, I don't know we need like haha jokes like Age of Ultron style. But
I think it would help.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if it just like was a little more self-aware, like aware of the fact that there are men in tights with capes running around and stuff. It's not practical having capes and things like that. Just a little more self-aware. But I feel like if you had jokey jokes, like if she was you and oh shit, like
I wanted more moments like that in that final battle.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like I wanted, I guess Avengers level banter in that battle. Like for them to say anything to each other, like, "Oh, I'll lasso him while you do this," and he's like, "Okay, I'll do that." Anything.
Give them more interaction.
Like just make it like somewhat fun, even if it's the jokes are stupid. At least they're there, and you alleviate some of just the grim nature that you've been exposed to from the very, very beginning. And I just don't think people are responding well to just how joyless it is. It really is 2.5 hours of grittiness.
Yeah.
And that's not what people want. Even people always say how dark and gritty Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy is, but there are a lot of laughs in those films. It is not as
it's not dour.
as dour as people think.
Right.
I feel like looking back, if you reflect on those films, like there are a lot of funny moments in those films.
Yeah.
And there are zero funny moments in Batman v Superman.
There were moments in Batman v Superman, like, musically speaking, it almost felt like the Phantom of the Opera. It was just so over the top, like,
Yeah.
ba 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 ba.
I would agree with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially
Yes.
Luther's theme.
Yeah.
I agree. It was almost distracting at some
It was
moments.
really over the top. Except for Wonder Woman, that was amazing.
That was good. That was good.
But for as silly as the film is, like you look at what happens in the film,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
it's absurd. It is stupid,
Mm-hmm.
but in a good way, in a fun way.
Yeah.
And the movie should have embraced that absurdity,
Yeah.
that silliness.
Like-
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I was totally laughing at, like, Batman when he's fighting Superman. He does this half-assed grenade toss where, because the armor's so bulky, he
Yeah.
doesn't have, like,
Full range of
total,
motion.
yeah. So he, like, turns his whole body to, like, lob this grenade, and it looks so goofy. Like, there were so many moments in the film. Like, when Scoot McNairy's climbing the statue, it's so grim dark that, like,
Although you don't want to make fun of that.
No,
I mean,
but all
if you make that seem the one funny moment in your movie,
but it
you're
becomes
gonna turn
so
off everybody.
weird.
Awkward.
Like,
funny,
it's
like,
so
you don't have to have
depressing
that.
and heavy that you're not allowed to, like, enjoy any of it. Like, Perry
I thought
White-
that was funny how he throws like the can at the officer.
Like, Lawrence Fishburne had the best lines in the movie, and even then he wasn't in it enough to really salvage that kind of humorous. Like, when he says, like, oh, maybe he clicked his heels 3 times and returned to Kansas.
And if there was more humor, I think, between Lois Lane and Clark Kent, maybe I would have bought that. Maybe
Oh,
I would have bought that
Their
one.
joyous love that
Yeah,
they share.
their joyous
He
love.
brings her
Oh.
flowers. He was gonna cook dinner.
He's Superman!
Come on!
I've had roommates bring me flowers and cook me dinner. Like, are you serious? Like,
He jumps in the tub with her. It's cute.
and nobody does that. Like, fully dressed and jumps in the tub like
They
that.
sure do.
Oh.
Brian, back me up.
But that, I feel like that's, you could almost blame Snyder for that. Like, he's like, oh, I've seen that in every romantic comedy
Yeah,
ever.
and it's so
People
stupid.
People
Yeah.
are gonna love it.
What? The cooking dinner?
No, the getting in the
No,
In
the
the
jumping in the
Yeah,
tub.
I know, I was
that's
just
in so
kidding.
many movies.
But that was like the one thing that he did. Like, there was nothing like in dialogue or even in touch. Like, how often were they like even touching each other like a couple would? Or like, I don't know. There wasn't any chemistry. There just isn't any chemistry between them, and it just fails. And I think humor would have brought chemistry
Mhm.
to their relationship, and you would have bought that more as like a loving, real relationship.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Superman's a huge dork for
Mhm.
being a super alien. Like, there's so many jokes to be made at his expense beyond just Perry White.
At the end of Man of Steel, I always thought Perry knew who Superman was. Because he's a good 30, 40 feet
Mhm.
from the explosion zone, from where the crash happens.
Mhm.
And he sees the two of them kiss. And then, like, I don't know, a week later, he hires the same guy.
Yeah.
But,
With glasses on. Yeah, I'm just saying.
this 230-pound jerk.
Trying to see what else Wes has.
Definitely the best Batman, I'd say, ever.
Best Batman?
Ever.
Better than
Oh.
Val Kilmer?
I don't know about that.
Those
Those sexy
are some shoes to fill.
You didn't like George Clooney's nipples?
Well, they weren't really his nipples.
His bat
What a
nipples?
specific thing that. He didn't like George Clooney. Now that you put it that way.
Brian, who's your favorite Batman?
I would still have to say Bale. I mean, it's too
Bale?
premature to say, you know, this is the best Batman in my opinion. That's one outing, but
Yeah.
the Nolan trilogy is, you know, Batman to me. So
What
we
about
we just watched all 3 of them today. They were on TV. So
not Keaton?
no, well,
Who's the
Keaton's
animated
number 2.
series?
Oh, Kevin Conroy.
Conroy? Not Conroy?
Like, Christian Bale's cool and all, but, I mean, he's got this thick Cockney accent, and he's always tripping over with his big gum and weird teeth. And
he'd be delighted to hear that. His big gums and his weird teeth. Oh,
he looks like a vampire.
No disrespect.
How, what a compliment.
You watch Batman Begins, the scene where him and Katie Holmes are talking just outside the hotel, and he's all wet. He has literal fangs. Like,
His canines are pretty pointed.
it's off-putting. And then the whole Batman voice thing, which I thought was awesome what they did in Batman vs. Superman with the voice modulation.
Mm-hmm.
See, Bale had to do that all himself, manually.
Which made him seem ridiculous.
only at times. Only a couple times.
Just the
here and
last
there.
two movies.
I know, I like Bale, though. I do like Bale. I love Keaton, though.
Yeah,
Keaton will always be my favorite Batman.
Even though
Maybe because I just love Batman Returns. That's my favorite Batman movie.
better than Batman?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Wow.
I love Batman Returns.
Wow.
I watched that like you watch Man of Steel.
Okay, I get it now.
It's in my top 5.
Once a month, huh?
What?
Once a month, huh?
Once a month. Maybe not as frequent as that.
We
But-
can all now ask Shohan if it's that time of the month on a regular basis.
I almost crashed when I got that text.
Wait, so for people who don't know, you watch Man of Steel how often?
I watch Man of Steel probably a good once or twice a month.
Once
or twice a month. We've increased the rate.
Wait,
A little irregular
wait, for
there.
how long though? Is it like recently? Like I'm gonna revisit Man of Steel, and you found out you loved it, or is it once or twice a month since it's been released on Blu-ray 2 years ago, 3 years ago? I don't know.
I can't do the math, but every time, yeah. Since it's been released. I love it, man.
Do you like
No,
call
no,
your
no,
wife
no.
and be like, honey, it's Man of Steel night, like get the cape.
No, but she likes it enough that she gets when I get off work. Like sometimes I just need a little MOS right now.
That's awesome. I love
I
it.
love it. That is good.
No one can begrudge you for that. So, Man of Steel versus Batman versus Superman. Which are you going to watch? Is Dawn of Justice once a month? Is this going to replace your Man of Steel?
Oh, it's not going to replace it. I'll probably watch it in sequence.
Okay.
But, like, Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman are basically, they're pretty similar. Just one has way more stuff in it. But the fact that one has Batman in it, kind of tips the scales.
I have a question about Batman. And I want everyone here to weigh in on this. So Suicide Squad, in a few months, the Joker is in that. And Batman v Superman, Batman apparently just kills whoever he wants whenever he feels like it. Why didn't he kill the Joker?
So I have a theory about that. He can't kill the Joker because Joker gives him purpose, just like Batman gives the Joker purpose.
Just like the Killing Joke.
Yeah, they're opposites of the same person. They are in constant struggle with one another. It's like they're the perfect nemesis, but they give each other purpose, so they have to continue to exist.
So,
As
oh, go ahead.
no, please.
I heard that the Suicide Squad takes place before Batman vs. Superman. So
Is it actually in the extended universe of it's a franchise?
It's part of the Dawn of Justice, but it takes place after Man of Steel, but before Dawn of Justice.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know why they're doing it that way. Maybe
Do they make any? Do you know if they make any references of?
I mean, Eisenberg's
events?
credited on IMDb as being in that movie.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
I guess spoiler. I mean, for something you go online and look on IMDb.
Yeah.
But no, he's in the cast list.
Okay.
So it's occurring. Okay.
I
That's one thing I wasn't.
I
sure
don't
about.
know.
I would
if
assume
it was going to be a
would
standalone franchise or not.
That would make no sense.
Well, I do know, but I'm not going to
Yeah, but you see stuff like that all the time, like the Spider-Man, X-Men, the Avengers.
Well, yeah, but Warner Brothers owns it all, so why not keep it?
That's true.
That's the thing that pisses me off the most. Warner Brothers owns all those characters, and yet they're like, well, what do we do? It's like, just do it.
What film are you all most looking forward to that's coming up?
After Batman.
After, well, obviously.
Yeah.
Man of Steel. Brian.
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Well, no. Sorry, I meant in the DC
in the
universe.
DC universe. You got it.
Rogue One.
Yeah. Let's see.
Aquaman.
I guess Aquaman
Obviously.
because I want to see how bad it's going to start.
You want to see how bad he's going to be?
Yes.
But it's directed
I
by
can't-
James Wan.
I can't see a 2-hour movie on what I just saw.
I heard Aquaman's going to be a lot more lighthearted. That's what I heard.
Like Guardians?
I don't know if it's going to be that funny, but I heard it's not going to be like dour like BBS was.
I don't know how gritty you can get with a man who controls fish. Like,
Well,
yeah.
you never know. We saw that Revlon ad just now. I'm probably looking. Well, now I'm probably looking forward to Wonder Woman, just because it's probably the first. Like there aren't that many like World War I movies, much less World War One.
Warhorse.
Okay, not many.
It's based on a true horse.
That's because the
True
sequel, World War II, overshadowed.
A very long engagement.
Oh, that's true.
That
was
was
a good
good.
one.
That was really good.
There are many World War I movies.
All right, so not featuring the Star Space.
Practical Magic.
I do like that movie though.
Yeah.
He watches that twice a week.
It's a good one. I watched it a lot.
Pretty great. Yeah, probably Wonder Woman's for me.
Suicide Squad. I'm so excited
Suicide
for
Squad
that.
for me, definitely.
Harley Quinn is like my
Like,
world.
yeah, I'm really eager to see Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I think she'll nail it.
I'm really intrigued by Jared Leto's Joker too.
Oh.
I think he looks really cool. I'm like, I'll go with it. Like, I'm excited for this kind of like street gang kind of like thing going on. I like it. So
Brian, what was yours?
Mine was Aquaman, remember?
Aquaman.
Right.
What about you, Jordan?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Of course.
But
I'm excited for her.
like,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, second in line is like the Batman movie.
Yeah. Is everyone going to purchase the director's cut?
Oh,
30
absolutely.
minutes longer?
For 30 minutes?
Of course.
It's 3 hours now that
Yeah.
I gotta watch this movie.
Yep. It has Jenna Malone.
I will probably buy it out of curiosity
You'll buy it out of curiosity.
to see.
The studios will take that.
Shohan's going to have less time on his hands 1 second. So.
What's that?
It says Shohan's going to have less time on his hands once that goes out. Can you get together today? Nope. We got to watch Man of Steel. And,
Yeah.
man, that's 6 hours.
Just wait till Suicide Squad's out. Alright, so any other words about the Bats versus the Soups?
That one scene in the warehouse with Batman is probably the best thing I've ever seen Batman do. Maybe ever. It was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
He is
And
stabbing
Zack
people willy-nilly.
Yeah, but
Zack
he's also
Snyder
using
said
all
that
his
that
gadgets.
scene gets extended on the Ultimate Edition, whatever you call it, Director's Cut.
He what?
Zack Snyder said that scene gets extended on the Director's Cut.
Oh, I hope so.
Awesome. That'll be good. Yeah, it's funny because like you were saying about the fight scene from the dream sequence, compared to that one, it's like it's from a whole other
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, like they feel like they're choreographed by two different people.
Right.
No, you never know. Maybe. Okay. Final words.
Final words?
Final words. Brian?
I mean, like Scott Mendelson says, I mean, go see it. It's already on track. Looking at the box office, biggest March opening, the biggest opening from Warner Brothers, and the 6th biggest opening of all time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I say F the critics and go see it.
I wonder how it's going to do next weekend.
Have fun with it. I mean, it's a dark and grim movie, but this is the universe that we're in.
But it is silly, though, at the same time. Like,
yeah, I mean, I have fun with it. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's not funny like Guardian's funny, but just looking at some of the, like you said, looking at the facial cues and whatnot, I mean, I just had a good time with this, so go see it.
This is a movie that you could take your kids to.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's a bold statement. Maybe your children.
Would you take a 6-year-old to see this?
I don't want a kid seeing Aquaman like that.
I would say, like, it's so
And when they cry at the end because Superman's dead?
Yeah.
You're going to explain all that to them?
I'll explain them.
Here's some ice cream.
I'll read them Doomsday before they go to bed. So, like, it's so silly and over the top, like, and there's so many, like, fantastic things going on. That there were kids in the theater when I saw it the second time, and they were dumbfounded. They were, like, the whole time, they weren't like, ooh, I'm going to be on my phone. Like, kids were really into it, so. And the silly adults behind me that thought Catwoman was in this movie, they liked it too. It's a fun movie. It's definitely worth checking out. If you have any kind of mild interest in these characters at all, you'll have fun.
Yeah, I agree. Erica?
I'd say go see it. It's not the best that I've seen.
Would you see it in IMAX?
No.
Nah.
Even though it's filmed with IMAX cameras.
No. I'm gonna go see it in IMAX. Nope. Wouldn't.
Why?
Go see it. I think it's still it's decent enough. It's entertaining. It's an interesting take, I think, on each of the characters, and I think it's definitely a good intro for Wonder Woman.
Absolutely.
I'm interested. You're gonna get invested in.
But
the
half
characters.
of her badassness, let's be real, is her theme song.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter how we get there. We just got there. We want to see her movie, okay?
Yeah, you could almost say that this is like the best Wonder Woman trailer ever.
Yeah,
right? That would be great.
Jerad?
Go see it. I know I complained a lot about it, but just go see it. It's one of those movies where you just have to see it. It's honestly, I mean, it's like anything. We're all going to be complete dorks and cry about how Batman's killing people, but like, you just got to see it, honestly. Yeah, it's not the greatest movie, but it's entertaining.
You can't take your eyes off of a freaking tree.
Yeah.
So
It's a beautiful looking movie.
Yeah.
It is.
It is beautiful.
It's iconic.
That is true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be the guy that doesn't see Batman vs. Superman?
Right. Don't be that loser.
You can take any moment from this film and frame it, and it would look just outstanding in your house.
True.
It would look perfect.
As useless as some of the scenes where they were, really. Like even the Kevin Costner scene on the mountain.
But it was still beautiful. It's still, yeah.
I still wanted him to be hit by a tornado.
I didn't know they got this high.
Maybe that's what happened to him. He didn't die. He just got blown onto a mountain.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, this has been our discussion. Our very long and detailed discussion of
Bron
Batman v
fix it.
Superman. So, what are we going to talk about next time? Next time, I know what we're going to talk about. I know Brian's going to be here for this. I hope so. Our Star Wars Force Awakens commentary.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes.
We're going to record it on the 1st, put it up for the Blu-ray release. You can watch it along and watch all of us say how amazing that film is. And if anyone says otherwise, we're going to kick him out. Yes. Well, thank you. Once again, let's go around the room.
I'm Jerad.
I'm Shohan.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Brian in a different room.
Brian in a different room, in a different state.
It's a different state.
You
In a time zone.
You can find us all on whysoblue.com.
whysoblue.com.
Check it out, yo.
Check it out. The greatest film site of all time, in my opinion. All right. Have a good night or good day.